Okay, next one. Fasting. Why do you fast? You want to feel how someone poor feels. You have $1 billion. You will feel for that fixed amount of time how it feels. Most of the world is third world. Most of the world. You live in America, it's great. Even in America, we have a problem. You're gonna know how it feels. So you can humble yourself. So you can be compassionate. You can have these characteristics like the prophet or like God. God has these amazing characteristics. Why do you not want to strive for perfection? Okay. What is it? Shahada, what else? I said Shahada? Zakat, okay, zakat. Why? Okay, zakat, giving to the poor. Why do you need to do it? It's just logical. You have an abundant amount of wealth. What is it, like 2%? 2.5. 2.5% of your income, you have to give it to another human being. What kind of this is a religion making you do good. Please, tell me why I would not think that this is beautiful.
If everybody'd like to say hi to my wife, she's on the phone. She's listening to this. She couldn't come with, she had to work, so I just decided I'd put her on the phone and let her listen. That's what I've been doing down here. Hi, honey. Let's see here. Things that I found amazing and things that I found troublesome. You know, the simplicity of the Quran and simplicity of Islam is probably what I found the most amazing aspect of Islam, is its simplicity. When I first read the Quran, I remember thinking to myself, this is probably one of the most easiest to read books of faith I've ever read in my life. There's no deep requirement of mysticism and faith and fairy tales and unicorns and goblins and all kinds of other stuff. You know what? This is actually just a book of common sense and rules that I can apply to my life, and it will just make things simple. So that in itself, that was probably the most amazing aspect. Anything that I've had trouble with? Not that I can really think of. No, there hasn't been anything that I've had trouble with. So there we go. Under a minute again. Boom! Bye, honey.
Okay, let's see here. Alright, I guess the ease and the trouble, I thought was like the most amazing thing.
Yeah, it's have you faced anything in religion that you found particularly fascinating?
Yeah, what was fascinating about it? Okay, really, what's fascinating about Islam? I mean, I think we'll all agree. What's fascinating about it is the way it makes you feel. You know, it's completely life-changing. That's what fascinated me. It made me feel different, like good, like really good. So that was fascinating. I mean, and Islam is so it's so deep. You know, you can learn about it forever. You can spend every day of your life reading the Quran and learning different things, following different scholars, going different places, traveling the world, and you still have something left to learn. That's really cool. Anything that's like something difficult
to come to terms with
was realizing that I spent 31 years of my life without it. That was difficult.
So, what was fascinating, well, I guess what is fascinating is, well, Mustafa mentioned that a lot of things in Quran is, a lot of common sense value that it makes sense to us. But I think the fascinating part was that was a complete social reform order, and when this scripture was revealed, that this as a religion to be very function as a changing the society, and a lot of it we get a criticism about based on people's interpretation, but especially when you put into the perspective of 7th century Arabian Peninsula, a lot of the things that talked about in Quran is very much revolutionary progressive agenda. I think that aspect of it was very much fascinating, and it is still fascinating too. And another aspect is that the diversity of community, and how, especially in the United States, how we are negotiating within ourselves to make sense of this religion and have, without compromising our religious value, try to navigate through this American life. And beyond that, I think that diversity is very much a fascinating part of this religion and the community. I haven't quite have anything that I guess have trouble to come to terms with. Perhaps not, nothing around the religious part of it. But time to time, the cultural interpretation of religion could get in us in a way somehow. Pakistani community has a certain way of seeing things, and Arab community has a certain way of seeing it, and American Muslim community has a certain other way of seeing it. Those things occasionally get in the way, but also that is the part that really shows how diverse our community is and how diverse the people who create this community is. So still come back to the positive side and fascinating.
What I found fascinating, I would have to say, kind of touching on what Brother Hero was saying here, is how deeply ingrained Islam is in the Latin culture, and how we're so ignorant of our own culture and our own history. That's the word I'm looking for, history. Just the Ottoman Empire, the Moors, how the Muslims conquered Spain for over 900 years. Like, I'm a Latin American, I'm very in touch with my culture. Why didn't I know that? And even like in Spanish, we have a saying, we say ojalá, like, it basically means like God willing, like, oh, ojalá que te vaya bien, like, oh, God willing that everything goes well for you. And I learned that ojalá comes from the Arabic, from back in the 7th century, when the Arabs and the Muslims and the Spanish were all living and figuring out algebra and doing amazing things with math, and basically just, being brilliant people, that that the Arabic word, or that the Spanish word ojalá comes from inshallah, which means God willing. And I love saying that when I speak Spanish. I'm a manager at my retail job, and I work with a lot of Spanish, Latin American or Spanish speaking people. And my name tag says hablo español, and when I start speaking Spanish, they're just like, what? Like, I thought you were, like from over there, like, and I'm like, no, like, I'm from here. They're like, wow, your English is so good. And I'm like, yeah, I was born here. Get it? Like, daily, it's not even funny, but, so yeah, it's just how deeply rooted it is in my history, and even in the language. Arabic and Spanish is very similar. We have over 1,300 words that are similar. You guys say pantalones, we say pantalon, camiseta, camis, arroz, ruz, like hello, same thing. So yeah, I found that absolutely fascinating, which makes it really easy for me to learn Arabic, alhamdulillah. So yeah, that was fascinating for me. And what was kind of difficult for me to come to terms with, I wouldn't say it was difficult to come to terms with, but I would say more it was a little bit of a disciplining myself to pray 5 times a day. Obviously I wasn't doing that as a Christian, so just getting up for the morning prayer, for the dawn prayer, for the noon prayer, for the midday prayer, for the sunset prayer, for the night prayer. It seems like, very like dogmatic, and it seems like, you're just this like robot and all you do is pray all day, but it's really not like that. I really don't feel like it's like even when I'm at school and I'm just stressed out and I'm just like, God, like I have a midterm today or whatever it is, life, school, family, when you wash up, it's like I assimilate that to baptism, because it's like I'm purifying myself and I'm washing my face and I'm washing my hands and I'm washing my feet, and I don't think it's sick because my feet are cleaner than yours. So I just think it's funny. Anyways, it's so weird. So that was a little bit difficult, just disciplining myself, but after you get used to it, you just drop everything you're doing. You just pray, Allahu Akbar, God is great, God is the greatest, and it just kind of all melts away. And it's kind of hard to be a bad person, to be negative all the time when, you're asking God to help you, to keep you on the straight path 5 times a day. But after you get used to it, it's awesome.
Next question. Did Islam answer any questions that you always wondered about or never found satisfying answers for? For example, purpose of life, God, prophets, etc.
Early minds, good minds, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, let's move a little later in history, Kant, Dostoevsky, Simmel, etc. Just some great minds. Found it best to not question, ponder, etc. Think about so much these ideas of why am I here? Why is there a God? Why did He put me here, etc. Because we couldn't get a defined answer. When did the cops get here? Was that when I was in the bathroom? Hi, cops. Anyway, so these great minds found kind of frivolous to think of such things because you couldn't answer them. And as a result of such, I didn't really spend much time thinking about these matters. In any case, when I did eventually end up embracing Islam, I suppose the most simplistic way I could put it would be rational choice theory. That was the method that led me to Islam in essence. So no, it didn't answer any of my questions because I wasn't questioning. I wasn't sitting and wondering, thinking about these things. Because better minds that had come before me had thought, why think about this? Hold your clap for the end.
Well, for me, too, I guess, I didn't have a particular question in my life, but just to put it in a simple way, it made sense.
Okay, my questions. Why do I have to keep asking you what the question is? For some reason I keep forgetting.
No problem, I got you. Did Islam answer any questions
Okay, well yeah, that's why I'm Muslim.
that you always wondered about?
Duh.
And never found satisfying answers for?
Yeah, the Trinity issue, that never made sense to me. God never made sense to me, none of that stuff ever made sense to me. It's pretty cut and dry. It's like, yeah, I had tons of questions that never were answered, and Islam answered every single one of them. And I can sit here and go through all that stuff with you, but we don't have enough time for applause. We definitely don't have enough time for that. So, there you go.
Good job. You held the applause. Good job.
Thank you for holding your applause. What? Yeah, I know the question. It's just kind of like I'm just trying to spit it out. Yeah, I mean, of course, it answered a lot of questions in my life. Specifically, every Muslim's favorite topic, jinn. All you Muslims do, it's funny. Jinn. What are jinn for the non-Muslims in here? Jinns are like, that sounds so weird. I'm the weird one here. Ghosts. Yeah, there's an explanation for ghosts in Islam. And being in the Pentecostal church, like my teenage years, it's pretty intense. You've seen, it's basically like, well, let's be politically correct here, but Pentecostal church is very animated. There's a lot of energy in there, and there's it depends on what sect you're in Christianity, but in the Pentecostal church, a lot of people believe in speaking in tongues that they don't know, basically